Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy is in Jerusalem today, where he delivered a historic speech before Israel's Knesset. McCarthy lauded the alliance between the U.S. and Israel while pledging that America will always support the Jewish state, especially while he is the Speaker. The House Speaker also called for Israel to better scrutinize Chinese investments in the country and warned of Iranian aggression throughout the region. Now, in a press conference, McCarthy was asked about the debt ceiling debate going on back here at home, and he said he has not heard from President Biden. He quipped, quote, "I'm a little bit like Netanyahu," a reference to President Biden not inviting the Israeli Prime Minister for a visit since he came back in power in December. Well, joining me now from Jerusalem to discuss this is Chris Mitchell. He's the Middle East Bureau Chief for CBN News. Chris, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Tony, great to be with you again.
So tell us about Speaker McCarthy's visit, his speech to the Knesset. How was it received?
Very well received, Tony. It was the first speaker in 25 years to address the Knesset. I literally just came from there. I was at the press conference and asked, one other thing that Speaker McCarthy did talk about is that the U.S. would not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. I asked him a question about will he support a military action, a joint military action. He just reiterated that they will make sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. But the whole speech was very well received. I think the whole visit, since he came yesterday, went down to the Western Wall to pray, met with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I think it was quite a couple of days here in Israel. And also, I would add, as you said, one thing he said: if Joe Biden doesn't invite Prime Minister Netanyahu, that he will.
You know, Chris, you've been there for quite some time covering news not only in the region, but the relationship between Israel and the United States. We see this often when you've got a Democratic administration that not so friendly with Israel. It opens up a much closer relationship with Republicans in Congress.
It does. There was a question asked in that press conference. The Biden administration has been here 2.5 years. Is the relationship with Israel stronger now or weaker? I think the speaker was very gracious in his answer. It was a bipartisan delegation, and Steny Hoyer, the longtime Democrat, was there as well as part of the delegation. But I think that it is an opportunity, given the Biden administration and the way they've reacted to the Netanyahu government, to become a strong ally and show their support. Certainly, accepting the invitation by the Speaker of the Knesset, by McCarthy, is one step, to sort of foster that relationship and make it closer. I'll add, Tony, a couple of questions actually that were asked during the press conference. There was just the Justice Minister of Israel. His name is Levin. He said that the current administration has really been favoring the judicial reform movement. Again, there wasn't any clear, statement by Speaker McCarthy, only to say that if it's true, that it would be very inappropriate. And that's what a lot of people feel here, is that the current administration, on a number of fronts, whether it's judicial reform, the Abraham Accords, or Iran, is really not certainly on the same page as it was in the former administration under President Trump.
What about the issue of Israeli sovereignty when it comes to their ability to move about in their own land, build where they want to build? I mean, we also see this tension in this administration between the Palestinian Authority and Israel.
A big difference. I mean, when the Trump administration really cut off funding for the Palestinian Authority, in large part because they have a pay-to-slay policy, which actually rewards Palestinian terrorism against Israelis. If somebody murders or threatens or injures Israelis, they get convicted of that. They get paid, as well as their family. Now the Biden administration has really started funding by hundreds of millions of dollars the Palestinian Authority. Now, they say that doesn't go directly to the pay-to-slay policy, but money like that is fungible. If they don't use it for one issue, they can transfer transfer that to another. So a market difference in the way the funding, the way the support goes for the Palestinian Authority. I just add, Tony, just last week about a week ago tomorrow, I was about 4 cars away from a ramming attack, the kind of random attack can happen anywhere at any time, where this man, a Jerusalem Arab, just plowed into several people there in a place called Mahane Yehuda, right near the largest open air market in Jerusalem. And that is just one example of what Israelis face, on a day-to-day basis. And that's encouraged in part, it seems, certainly by the Palestinian Authority.
Yeah. Chris, we're up against a break, but very quickly, does this also provide an opening for evangelicals to nurture a stronger relationship with Israel? And how can we pray for Israel right now?
Well, I would say, Tony, right now, Isaiah62fast.com, there is a large evangelical movement here in Israel, around the world. Thousands of ministries are gathering together May 7th to May 28th to fast and pray 1 hour a day for Israel based on Isaiah chapter 62. That's a great way to pray for Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. And you can join millions of believers around the world to do that.
All right, we'll encourage folks to do that. Chris, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be with you, Tony.